I find I came to enjoy less and less as time went on.
Of that style.
Yeah, of that style. I like the lighter, crisper, more incisive style that my Chardonnay here exhibits more. I like to drink it more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not a chore to drink it.
That's right. I remember sitting in a restaurant with an unnamed restaurant with a winemaker who had brought his brand new Chardonnay for the restaurateur to try. This was many years ago, and the oak was so overpowering. It was like a punch in the mouth. And we looked at it and said, "Well, would anyone actually want to drink this stuff?" It's not as impressive it would be, but not exactly drinkable.
Isn't it nice working with us? We let you make wines you like drinking.
It shows too that like everybody thinks it's drinkable. 3 people have already said they already went through all the Chard that they bought.
Yeah.
And so it's
time to reorder.
Well, it's Adam. You have to admit that yes, you do let me make the style of Chardonnay I wish to make, but you did check it out beforehand. It wasn't an unknown quantity.
That's true.
Well, there's a certain level of responsibility because, like, we're all weird winemakers. We all wander up with projects like that, and you're saying, "Yeah, I made Chard at La Crema, but I don't want to do it in that style." And then sometimes we get some weird requests.
Yeah.
People coming in and saying, "Yeah, I really want to make this variety you've never heard of in Napa." Okay.
Do they even grow that here?
That sounds
fun.
No, this is delicious.
So what year were you, just out of curiosity, what year were you making Chardonnay at La Crema? So we just know how long you've been making Chardonnay, not how old you are.
Well, that was 1979.
1979, wow.
So do the math, 33 years ago.
Yeah. I'm in marketing, I can't do math, but
as soon as you've been making wine longer than I've been alive.
Yeah, exactly, I'm done.
That's my benchmark.
But the thing is that I feel like I'm still learning.
Yeah,
and I feel every year is an exciting thing, and believe me, by the time I reach 100, I think I'll finally figure it out.
Well, cool.
Then I'll write a book and I can retire.
I love this beautiful sign.
So, what would you pair with this? Everything? Anything?
I think I would pair salads. I had a salad last night at a restaurant in Corte Madera that was sensational. It was at Boca Pizzeria. It was called Rustica salad, and it was made with finely sliced preserved lemon.
Ooh, nice.
And it was incredible. And this wine would have been perfect with that salad.
I can picture this with like an apple blue cheese salad with like
I just had a goat cheese pear. And it was so.
I mean,
but where was this wine at lunch?
Exactly.
It was back in the case waiting out to
That's right.
To a customer.
They installed a security device to prevent me from drinking all day.
They knew something. So I think that I wouldn't. I don't know about salmon, but I think most white fishes would be just superb. Just simply done, sautéed. We'll get kind of a little bit crunchy. Maybe some rice and or potatoes to go with it, or really light chicken fillets, chicken breast fillets.
Or mac and cheese.
You guys want some? See how it pairs?
I really want to try the mac and cheese with everything.
Vanessa sent the menu. So the mac and cheese is a Dungeness crab.
Oh, that's the right stuff.
Brie mac and cheese.
That
I think that is going to go awesome. So let's get some of that. Oh yeah, Vanessa's
So for those of you who may not live in Northern California,
Susie had her Chard with salmon stuffed with crab.
There you go.
Salmon stuffed.
All right.
We've had about 5 inches of rain so far, which means that the wild mushrooms are coming up.
Yeah.
And I've been picking porcinis down the road from where I live, and we've been having them in all kinds of dishes.
Well, so some of you might not know, but one of Jim's favorite hobbies is he's He's a forager of delicious mushrooms.
A mycophile.
Is that what it's called?
Is that what you are?
Yeah, Michael. I guess that works.
He
In my neighborhood, I'm called Mr. Mushroom. I'm serious.
It's for the edible kind. That's of
well, it's not 79 anymore. Does anyone have any questions for Jim around Chardonnay? Anything in general
about mushrooms?
About mushrooms and maybe their psychedelic effects.
I wouldn't know about
his
that.
favorite music to listen to while foraging mushrooms.
The porcini are beautiful though, right? They're the same here, yeah.
They're big. They're big. They
don't they make sandwiches out of those sometimes?
They're big enough to.
Yeah. How do you make them when you're doing stuff?
Well, it's actually taken a while to figure out how to cook them properly, and I'd like to think that I know how to cook them properly now, which is to slice them up fairly thin and cook them in just simply in oil until they get brown on each side, thoroughly brown on each side, and then you put them in rice dishes or roast chicken or whatever. But you got to cook them first that way.
Mm-hmm. And you sort of. I forget what it's called. Réduit. You take the water out, simmer them on a pan, and get all the water out.
French.
Do
technique.
it. That's the step, man.
Usually these mushrooms don't. These particular mushrooms don't have. A lot of them do, but these don't have that problem. So they're pretty dry already.
Does your mom make mushrooms?
Yeah. Well, the sap, which I think is porcini.
Yeah. Sap is porcini.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about it.
Yeah. So when we bring them in, and it's great. It's late this year. Well, at least we're
in France.
Yeah.
Well, we just started getting them like 2 weeks ago.
I'm in a mushroom tennis match right here.
Yeah, well, mushroom.
So we have our first question. The Chard is listed as California. Where do you source the grapes from?
Good question.
Good question. Mendocino County, which is an area that grows the kind of Chardonnay that I tend to like. It's
so Mendocino, in terms of, so we're in Napa. Mendocino's what, about 2.5 hours, 3 hours north of us towards the coast?
That's about right. About 3 hours north, and the climate's very different. It's up in the upper reaches of the Russian River, and the soils are different. The climate's different. It's higher in elevation. It's a little bit hotter during the day, but definitely colder at night, and It tends to give you that more of that appley quality
and aromatic,
and higher acidity.
Yeah,
too.
and higher acidity.
Good question, Kathy.
Good question.
Yeah.
Any other questions? And we'll. So we didn't go into this raw yet. We started.
I'm just ahead of the game.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm with Paula.
So, and by the way, Cody, do you think it goes well with the crab mac and cheese?
It does.
I think it's absolutely
that's a
spot
success.
on,
Yeah.
don't you?
It's probably amazing.
But I'm going to try to pair this mac and cheese with everyone.
Well, that's a good test.
It's like...
There's more.
So Kathleen's asking you about cool climate fog. Are you asking what cool climate fog is exactly, or if there is cool climate
talk
fog?
more about...
Yeah, talk about how that influences the grapes, maybe.
Cool climate fog. Well, the fog in California comes from the cold waters of the Pacific Ocean and is drawn in by the heat inland, and it definitely changes and mitigates the climate. So the closer you are to the coast, the more you tend to be influenced by the fog, and which will cool the climate down. The hot days it'll reduce the heat during the day, and makes for a longer growing season. Not every grape can thrive in that with that coolness and give you ripe fruit, but I think that fog's really a nice attribute for Chardonnay, particularly in the coastal areas.
I think Kathleen was just she just said Mendocino has fog. Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
yes, absolutely. It comes to fog. It's interesting that the fog follows the river valleys. So if you follow the Russian River from all the way through Sonoma County up to Mendocino, that's where the fog is. It just goes right up the river.
Which is
valley.
why the Pinot Noir goes just awesome around there.
Yeah,
And they
cool
also make
climate.
sparkling wine.
Lots of sparkling.
A lot of sparkling wine producers up there too. But if you went over the Coast Range, just on the other side, on the Central Valley side, which couldn't be more than, I don't know, 30 or 40 miles.
Just burns off.
There's no fog at
No, it
all,
just
and
burns
it's
right.
hotter than blazes there.
Yeah, and it smells of cows.
Paula is on to Casimir. He drinks.
Paula.
That's why she's invited.
Yeah, you sound like the female version of Ryan. Put your amp on 11.
Incidentally.
So should we
Onto the Syrah.
Go into the
I
Syrah?
don't want to rush Jim, but let's pour ourselves some Syrah.
Yeah, he can keep drinking.
Now, we'll do Jim's Syrah, right?
Yeah.
Let's do Jim's Syrah.
So there.
Yeah, you have it.
I hate to pour that out, but it seems a crime.
Yeah, it's there's something wrong with a winemaker pouring his own wine.
I know, I was just
We
gonna
do it
do
all
it.
the time, and it's just
That's the winemaker that will get up tomorrow morning.
We have-
glass. That's at a premium.
There we go.
You keep covering me up.
Yeah, I don't know why. Don't feel too bad for yourself.
Yeah.
You guys have me like half off.
Here, Jim,
straight.
slide over. Yes, of course.
That's what you come for, right? Is
The bickering. Yeah.
Look, haha.
All right, so tell us about this Syrah. How you stumbled upon it, or
So this Syrah is a 2011 from Mendocino County also, and it was entirely tank fermented. 2011 was a challenging year, as winemakers like to say, and but if you worked at it, you could make some pretty nice wines. It was a challenging year because it was kind of cool and rainy through a lot of the growing season. But many grapes did quite well, and I think this Syrah is among them. It comes from the region around Hopland, which is right on the Russian River in southern Mendocino County, and an area that
also known for other crop?
Mushrooms.
known for many things, I suppose you'd say. But it is a sufficiently warm area that Syrah will get ripe there, and it was fermented in a pretty normal way to accentuate the fruit and to minimize the amount of the tannin. So we didn't leave it on the skins for a long time. We wanted to pick up the fruit as much as possible, and so the resulting wine is nice and dark in color, but it's soft on the palate.
Yep.
And it has that feeling, that roundness, and that's very agreeable.
So how does it pair with the?
It's still going on. Everything goes in there.
So said, how was it?
Susie's halfway through the Syrah.
How was the crop this year for Syrah? Up here in Washington, it was a great year.
It was a great year here too.
Yeah, we had a great year all around agriculture-wise.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It was a great year for Syrah.
No, we're talking about 12 now.
12, yeah.
But then you mentioned the problems with 11, and earlier you said that you were really happy with the wines you'd made this year. You're referring to the 11 vintage?
I was referring to the 12.
All right, cool.
12s.
So you don't like this wine? Eh?
No, it's what you said. Absolutely not.
I'm thankful for this being done.
Every bottle of this I opened, I just poured out right down my throat.
Got a glass, Chad. Come join the chat.
Yeah, stop pouting.
Stop pouting.
Up on the side.
Everyone's coming downstairs from the.
Because they like us.
Well, yeah, and because there's
It's
They just
turkey.
want turkey
It's
and
Jim's
wine.
magnetic personality.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That'll do it.
So I'm surprised. We're 2 wines in on a 12-bottle case, within every bottle having a screw cap, and we haven't had one question yet. Have we just kind of finished the screw cap conversation over the last?
It has been a theme at the Thirsty Thursdays.
The screw cap controversy has been put to rest.
I think so.
So
I
these
think
guys are veterans.
I think the veterans are like.
They could tell me more about screw caps than I can. Actually, it's cool too because we have some of Randall's wines, and he's like an outspoken advocate. It's probably the most expensive wine on the site we have under screw cap.
Yeah.
But if I put a cork in one of his bottles,
I
he
go
would
nuts.
slap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nuts.
So it's what would you like? Are you following up?
Susie says it pairs well with French fries.
Yeah.
We'll have a little bit with you guys.
Well,
That's why he said Syrah the French way instead of Shiraz, because it pairs well with French fries. We're on Syrah. Do you want to
They love
pass that Syrah back?
Because we love screw caps. Well, of course.
Good, we can ready.
There's no ritual with screw caps.
Stephanie said that naked has really changed my view on screw caps. Yeah. Good.
That's what we want to do.
Why pay for cork? I mean, we still use cork, but
We just want to educate people on, what choices are out there. There's alternative closures out there, and they're not going to try it.
That's right.
and isn't it so much easier to drink without having to open it? You can just twist. It's like drinking a soda.
Not exactly. So the real reason why why screw caps have finally exploded onto the scene in such a big way, and they have, is because that the equipment and the technology has become widely available.
Yep.
It's easy to do it now. The whole industry has
Really
adjusted
adapted
to
it.
it.
Yeah.
And you'll see. I predict that 90% of all wines will be screw cap.
We'll look like Australia.
French fries with truffles.
Yeah.
That changes the
Oh my God.
significantly.
Okay, so
French fries with
go up.
truffle.
Is that Kathleen?
Like truffle
Kathleen.
oil or
So yeah,
actual
truffle well or truffle salt.
or truffle salt.
Truffle
So-
salt?
Or
Yeah.
truffle remnants.
Okay, now we got truffle overwhelming. So,
Truffle oil.
Kathleen,
Oh.
truffle oil.
Truffle oil, yeah.
No.
Like those truffle
Yeah,
oil
at
popcorn.
at Carpe Diem, yeah.
Well, we do at home. We do baked potatoes with butter and truffle salt.
I love truffle salt. I put it on everything.
yeah.
I put it
Truffle
on
salt.
everything.
Let's
Truffle
do the
sauce
next
is one of the
Thursday,
great-
Thursday at your home.
Yeah.
Okay, you're on.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's Thanksgiving. That's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm just going to find out something with Thanksgiving.
How about the next one after that? Yeah, let's do that. No, we even have white truffle and black truffle salt.
Oh, I do white truffle salt.
But they're expensive, but
Oh,
they
yeah.
last for 2 years.
And then I put them on everything.
Yeah, I do too. It's a wonderful thing.
Oh, Jeff
Jeff
you
is
have
sick.
a cold?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Nigel just said, the Aussies have been doing screw caps for years for their fine
that's
wines.
true.
Absolutely.
What's funny is how many New Zealand wines show up here with screw caps. I mean, with corks, but in New Zealand,
They would never.
yeah, they would never.
Yeah.
It's just
well, we
for
had
the
a
American market.
visiting winemaker from New Zealand named Bill Small.
Yeah.
Well, we call him Small Bill.
Yeah.
And
He's-
I asked him about that because he and I went up to visit one of my vineyards in the Sierra foothills, and I asked him about that, and he said, "Well, in New Zealand, the only way we only use corks for shipment to America."
That's genius.
Yeah, that was cool. He got to come in for our harvest in California
Yeah.
because obviously he works in the southern hemisphere. So he cruised up here
Dual
and
harvest.
helped out and consulted with winemakers, visited some of the vineyards up here. It was a fun project.
Yeah, it was really cool to work
So a
with.
few people have asked, could they cellar the bottle of Syrah for a few years?
That's an interesting question. If the question is, will it last for a few years? Absolutely, it'll last for a long, long time. Will it improve for a few years? I don't know about that. I think it's darn tasty right now, and I guess my response is, why would you?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So, but will it last? Yeah, it's a very sound wine. It'll last for many years, but I don't think it'll improve much.
It's too good.
It's too good right now. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite wines on the site, and one of the first things I tasted when I got here.
Yeah.
Because that was when Jim first came
That's right.
in.
That's right. He
in
was
March.
That's right. Yeah, you were in the.
And he brought this Syrah. Back then, it was a lot different.
And we
Obviously,
gave the
but-
thumbs up. It
but
was
yeah,
awesome.
it stayed with us. We had
Well-
to think about it a little longer, though.
I don't think it was a Syrah. It was something else.
Nah,
No, it's
I remember
Syrah.
the
This is
Syrah.
Ryan. Ryan was the one who pushed for.
Well, he's
for-
French. He likes.
And it's just one of the wines on the site that reminds me the most exactly of where I make it, and
Yeah, it is. It's got so much layer to it.
Your Syrah will not last in Paula's house.
I'm surprised that's not already past tense.
Well, there was only.
No, she already finished her wine. She's up to cabs.
Yeah, which means we should probably introduce the food at this point. It's 5:30.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Christ.
So,
What do I? Oh,
But
it's
should we-
Vanessa doing it.
should we
I love
bring-
having this assistant.
yeah,
This,
the moderator.
Vanessa.
So what-
Like Vanna White. No,
Yeah.
Jeff said he thought it was really well balanced and
Well-balanced and great drinking. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that comment. That's precisely what I'm looking for in my wines.
Yeah, it's zen.
I don't think I've ever caught a turkey.
Well, show them the turkey first. Bring it over to the
Before we
camera.
butcher
Come on,
it.
you gotta see this turkey. I'll butcher it on camera. How about that?
Oh, that would be exciting. Yeah. I think we can fix this sign because if you look, it actually says "Get Naked Her." That's gonna be really confusing.
To whom?
Yeah, exactly.
Her.
Here, you guys can slice it up and
All right.
Ray.
Check out that guy.
I'm
here,
gonna
just be careful with the
be
knife.
careful, her.
And I have my Rambo knife just to
Whoa.
I'm going to move over here a little bit.
carve a little bit of turkey.
That's to get through the forest.
Yeah. All right. All right, John. Let's give you some turkey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ryan made all the food.
I made the order.
So is this-
That's not even true. You did.
Is this French-style turkey?
It's a turkey.
It's a locally produced turkey.
Do you know what's? Maybe this isn't interesting, but you know what I think is interesting is
Yeah.
Ooh, that is nice.
Oh, turkey
just
down.
anywhere. In France, if you try to get turkey this time of year, because we celebrated Thanksgiving while we were over there, they'll tell you no.
Really?
Yeah, because their big turkey meal is Christmas.
Oh,
So they
they're
raise
saving
their
them.
turkeys at a different time of year, and they just don't have that many big turkeys in stock at your local butcher.
Because they're all being fattened up for,
Fattened up for Christmas.
for Christmas.
Where they get the big
Because
money
they have
for it.
vacation in November.
Does the turkeys?
Yeah, the
Yes,
French.
the turkey. I was shocked because
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I sat there and listened to my butcher call his supplier once, and she'd be like, "You don't have
Not
one that
Dina
is a little
DeLuca.
ahead."
Close.
Dina DeLuca would have been great. Shall we?
It's pretty close enough.
This is
Should we leave the turkey like that?
Whoa!
Nice serving tray. Yeah, Jeff. We use all our money to invest in winemakers, not in serving trays.
We have to spoil this.
Should we move on to the first Syrah, or which wine are we going to try first to pair?
Well, why don't we just
Try some
quickly
Syrah with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's already there.
look at this one with it.
Sure.
So turkey is a really sweet meat, and I think that's why it doesn't go very well with Cabernet and tannic wines. It goes better with soft wines, fruity wines like Syrah or Pinot Noir or
And this turkey was cooked with lemon and herbs, so I don't taste that much lemon though, which is good.
the herbs are definitely.
The herbs are
better.
really good. Rosemary, right? Thyme and rosemary.
I think it's time.
Nigel's munching on almonds.
Yeah. I actually think that your Syrah has a bit of a garrigue herbal, like mentholated quality sometimes, and has some of those kinds of herbs in it.
That's from the wild herbs the herbs that grow wild in the hills.
Mendocino herb again?
Back in the 70s.
How can we avoid this subject?
I get the herb. It's very subtle, but it's very good.
Yeah. It was really good.
Great job, Ryan.
Thank you.
I'm so impressed.
Truffle salt would have, you know.
Yeah, you should have added some truffle salt.
Who knew?
How are you guys doing? We're kind of self-obsessed and food-obsessed right now.
Yeah.
What's going on? You've cleverly hidden me. No,
Oh.
no, I'm kidding.
You guys need to get closer. It's like family meal time.
That's right. Hello. No, it's Yeah, well, how fast can you get here, Robert? Because
Better move quick.
I'm gonna admit these bottles might not be here tomorrow.
Or the turkey.
And per McCundy, is that?
Nigel. Yeah.
Oh, watching us eat turkey while he's munching on
Cheese on
almonds.
some almonds, yeah.
This conversation stops as you all. Yeah. Okay, I'll stop eating.
So
This is the first naked supper.
Not the Last Supper.
we need a few more participants for
Yeah.
it to be that.
What's going on off screen? Vanessa is diligently reading your comments and making sure all the technical stuff works. We've got IT department still active, trying to implement all the changes you guys have been suggesting for poor souls. And
I think they're looking on enviously.
that's true. Every now and then, our designer Paul is looking over, and he just did a rock on. And some of the boys from upstairs, the sales guys who call and help you pick out some of your wines, and they're down here chatting too.
Yep, that's what's going on.
It's a cool. Well, you did the first Thirsty Thursday from this office, so they know
Yeah,
the building.
the
already.
last one, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, the last one.
Yeah, the last one.
So it
was
was
It's a wonderful old building.
yeah, isn't it?
such character.
It has a lot of character.
I love this brick wall, and it's showing up in all the pictures and things. I like it. It's real, you know. It's not.
Don't talk with your mouth. All right, I'll stop.
That's the only reason I'm talking is to not eat, because otherwise I'll just and then we get to the next pairing, and I'll have to say, I need more turkey.
Need more wine. So should we try? Let's try some of some other people's wine, maybe. And
Fletcher.
well, Vanessa's already.
You got. I don't know if you tasted yet, but I put some Shiraz in your glass too.
Oh, is this the
Yeah.
Fletcher?
Yeah, you're on the Fletcher.
All right.
Take that
So
for you.
grab me a bottle. Where's the bottle of the Fletcher? Oh, it's right here.
Can you pour some for Jim?
Yep. So we went on to another Syrah, although called something different. 'Cause-
They call it Shiraz in Australia.
So we are on the Fletcher Shiraz, the Western Australia 2010, which is so interesting. It's the same grape,
It is the same.
but
grape.
just completely different continent, and just the difference. I think
on a daily basis, how much do we taste wine in the office? It depends on the person. I get to taste very frequently because whenever winemakers come in with new product, I get to be in on that session. And then we have a habit of, if it's not in the
Friday.
office, it's immediately after the office. We can party a little bit. And then Friday, yeah, is always a good weekly send up. It's a cool office. We all kind of hang out a lot. What about you, as a winemaker in the field? How frequently are you tasting?
Derek wants some.
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Give it to us.
no, it's on screen. I can't move the turkey.
I can't even imagine.
Turkey
I
hot.
can't even imagine how many times different wines I
bring
taste
on the
every
other
day,
side?
but it's probably 10 or 20
Yeah.
every day.
A whole bottle.
No, taste.
Oh, okay.
But that's it. It's just to stay on top of your game. You gotta always be playing.
Look
Right?
at that.
Absolutely.
Yum.
Ryan, you did a stellar job
Oh, thank
cooking,
you.
and they're jealous of your job.
Yeah.
Well, it's the serving containers too that are everyone's envious of.
Oh yeah, they're really high end.
I made those too.
Lake Creuset. We only get the best.
So this is oyster stuffed stuffing.
Yeah. Oyster.
Isn't that redundant?
This is a great video.
But don't we have a spoon?
No, that's customer money again. We can't invest in that.
All right.
So
I have now.
It's all the wine.
help yourself, Jim.
Yeah. We
Either way.
just dig it out with squash and gourds of various.
Gravy.
So have you guys? I can smell the sage and the stuff. Have you guys tried the Fletcher wines, the Fletcher Shiraz? What do you think?
They're too busy smelling the turkey.
Yeah, they can smell the turkey. They can spill the wine. Spit the wine. Sorry.
They're not spitting.
That's somebody. Oh, yeah. That's right. For every spoon we don't buy, we fund a new winemaker.
Boy, you think we work really cheap, huh?
No, it's just the spoons are really expensive in California.
I see. Yeah, that's right.
I have to import those. We only buy domestic handcrafted spoons.
That's right.
So this is a nice soft Syrah also.
Yeah.
And it's a little different in the nose, different fruit.
Yeah.
It's a little more peppery, maybe just a little bit earthy, and which is not a bad thing. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
But peppery. But also, I'd say ready to drink now.
Yeah. Brian makes really good wine, Fletcher. And this stuff comes off of Mike's vines,
Caligula,
right?
yeah.
And this is-
Caligula.
This is one of the 2 Shirazes that we're going to bring on board. We're going to bring on the Margaret River as well. Right now we're tasting the Western Australia. Both 2010 vintages.
Robert said rich and spicy, yeah.
Yep. Good stuff.
To me, it smells like I was telling Jim, like grain mustard. Like,
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm talking about? Like a deli grain mustard.
Smells like red wine.
Cherries.
It smells like ripe, hot weather Australian Shiraz. It just hits all the notes that it has to hit.
Delicious.
You can. It's good.
So, if you guys did buy this case, it was $103.99, which comes out to about $8.50 a bottle. So, if you haven't bought it, it's the perfect wine to serve to your guests for Thanksgiving. And is it too late?
It depends where you're living.
California.
You'll almost definitely
California
get
for
it in
sure,
time.
yeah. The 19th, I think, is the cutoff for everywhere else. So I
For
think
California. Because you're logged in California. It shows it.
No, the 19th is for Christmas.
right.
But don't tell them that.
Sorry.
We haven't guaranteed that yet.
Okay. Well, it's the perfect wines in case to mute your in-laws.
That's right.
Just keep giving it to them, and they get quieter and quieter.
Do you have anybody coming over for Thanksgiving?
Besides mushrooms.
Aside from me.
Well, no. Well, it's our family tradition to invite our family, our neighbors, and any stray dogs that happen to be coming down the road. We usually have a lot of people for Thanksgiving. We really believe that everyone needs to have a place to go for Thanksgiving. So we open up our house and let anybody who doesn't. We were always asking our neighbors, "Do you have a place to go?"
Do you want to tell them your address?
Sure. That's 10 Main Street, and that is it's 1141.
that's
First Avenue in Napa.
That's this address.
Which you're always welcome to, and soon enough it'll be a tasting room. So
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Right where we're sitting.
We'll get a lot of work done then.
I think Jeff just said to you, Ryan, quit drinking so much wine and work on the site.
I know, right? I know.
He did.
He vigilant.
I like Jeff already.
I bought the Thanksgiving case and still have a lot of Jim Serrano and Fletcher Strauss left to drink. Cool. We'll save them for... bye, Julia.
Yeah. It should be a real fun case.
So let's try some of...
Randall's.
Exciting. We got a really cool winemaker, Randall Graham, which probably a lot of you know. He's kind of known as the Rhone Ranger here in California. Went to Davis and built up Bonnie Doon Vineyard to a very successful brand. And he's really well known for growing and making Rhone varietals. So the first wine Ryan's pouring is his Syrah Viognier, which is interesting because I've heard of people putting Viognier on Syrah just to lift the nose, but he put a significant amount, more so than you typically would.
Usually it's like 5%
Right.
or some rather small amount.
And here we have...
How do you feel about that kind of cookable tea blend? Yes.
Well,
No, it's
I've tried it, and I didn't think it did for me what it did for the people in the Rhone, but I have to admit I've tried this one. I thought it was pretty darn good, but it'll make a heavy Syrah lighter and softer.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for that.
Well, it's like you were saying earlier about picking things that weren't too tannic or aggressive for a Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole case tries to stay a little bit on the more delicate side of Big Red.
Well, I mean, you can totally... We were talking about that before. With all these wines, they're very easy to drink, and you can kind of drink any of them with anything, and everything will work.
Well, if you think about all the different types of side dishes that typically go with Thanksgiving dinner, depending upon where you are, everything from roasted carrots with marshmallow sauce
It's
all over the board. So that's why these kind of soft supple wines are really useful for that because they'll go with anything.
And the other thing that I like doing, really at every meal, but especially when there's a lot of people,
What's
like
that,
at Thanksgiving, is having multiple different bottles open and doing a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
And if you have like an awesome but huge cab and then a couple lighter wines, it's hard to do the back and forth kind of casual thing. Yeah, these are all pretty interchangeable.
I mean, exactly what we're doing.
Exactly. And it won't ruin the meal. Well, as long as it's good wine.
As
the
long as
meal's
the
never
food's
really
good.
ruined. Yeah, but you can play around with it a lot.
They
So
want
yeah,
to know, I don't know if any of you know, is it co-fermented?
I believe it is actually because I think that was. I don't know for sure, but I believe it is.
you have to
I
ask
thought
them.
that's what he said.
I believe he said that
earlier
when we were
on,
talking to him
when
about
he
it.
did
Yeah, the
tour.
project was to.
Co-ferment. I think that's what it was. Yeah. But we'll ask Randall on his winemaker page.
Ask him on his wall. I think it is, but you should ask him on his wall, Kathleen. Unfortunately, we couldn't get him in today.
Well, he lives a little farther away than
Jim.
some of our winemakers did.
He's a little further down.
But you can see that the color is not as deep as some as the other ones. And
25%.
Yeah.
that's a lot.
It's a big old chunk of a wine. And when we're doing blends, really 5% makes a difference.
Yeah.
25 is huge.
And we could have called, and just to point out, this could have been called Syrah because it has enough of Syrah in it.
Oh, really?
But
American law is baffled.
Yeah, American law. But it's interesting that Randall really wanted to call out, and if you look at the label, the red and the green, just.
The original back label was about 3 paragraphs long. His message needed some editing.
He's really passionate about this, and I think that's really cool. I
didn't tell him to his face when I saw him last week.
Oh, in Turkey?
Yeah, telling him Ramble. We call him Ramble's Graham around the office sometimes. It tends to go on. He can talk.
Ramble's Graham.
And what's great is you want to listen to him too. He really
Nice
cares
has a
about his
question.
wine.
Does somebody want to answer it?
Is the Viognier a red grape really, but normally a white wine? No. It's a white grape.
It's a white grape.
It's a white grape, all
that
right.
sometimes goes into red wines, but sometimes it's sold pure too.
Yeah, we have a couple.
Yeah.
We have the Stephen Millier.
Yep.
We have
which
the
is the
Viognier.
most popular domestic white wine we have.
Wow. Yeah, it's like we were saying. It's a white grape that they typically that you see very regularly added to red wines, particularly Syrah, to kind of lift the nose and just make it more aromatic. But again, in this one, it's just higher. It changes more than just the nose, and I like it.
I like it too.
The nose is really good.
It's just real.
Kathleen's on it.
Ah, yeah, there you go, Kathleen. Faster.
Nice.
And nobody's more ignorant than us, so ask.
Tweeted and stuff. Okay.
No, I'm just thinking about that.
Can you do it right now? Just send out a little link. We're only halfway through.
10 minutes left.
Yeah.
So let's try. Last but not least, so Randall makes a wine that he's very well known for called Les Cigar Volant, which is his Grenache Syrah Mourvedre GSM blend, and we were lucky enough to get a very similar equivalent called Clos Bonneau Cigar, which is beautifully named.
Cool. It's because every year he does a different blend.
Yeah. And he tries different blends every year.
It's like 1 year there'll be 2% more or something and 2% less of something else. So that means that there's bits of wine that are as good as that wine, but just don't make it into
His final blend.
artistic vision for the wine. So he blends those just for us.
So he's making the blend later.
Yes.
He's
on
taking
Miguel Bernal.
the existing wines that he has and sits down in his laboratory late at night with a
mad
hydrometer and with a cylinder and measures out 1 mil of this and 2 mils of that, and was that as good? So this is the it's not that it wasn't as good, it's that
It's a different blend.
it didn't fit into his concept that way.
Exactly. This was just the extra bits from his most expensive wine.
And look at that label. I mean, that guy is just
Puffing away.
just puffing away. That's actually a self-portrait. I actually have a cigar over there.
Randall's actually got big glasses too. You guys are. It's a themed case in more than one way.
More than one way. How about the Fletcher?
Afraid not. Brian does not wear
Kathleen
glasses.
loves the Clos Bonneau cigar.
It's a really interesting wine because it's more Mourvedre based than Grenache. It's 76% Mourvedre. It's really
Nobody's called me out on it, but nobody's called me out on it, but this was actually a very southern France type of case. Like, it's all DSM. Yeah,
totally. It's yeah, you're right, and it's slightly Burgundian, you know.
Yeah. that was the gift.
Have you guys? I'm curious. Have you guys tried Randall's Les Cigar Volant? His
the Cigar Volant.
His regular blend or his?
You're adding a lot of letters in there.
My French is only good ones.
Dish some of this stuff out too.
Oh yeah. So grab some.
So we had his Cigar Volant at one of the barbecues.
Yeah, that's right. He did bring it. Yep.
And it's different than this.
I buy every year. I've been a fan of Reynolds for years, and every year I buy a vertical of his wines because he always has previous vintages, and I love to taste through the different blends year over year.
And he actually has 3 Cigar Volant wines. There's an entry level red. Well, not entry level. It's the most expensive red and the second most expensive red, I think. And then he's got a white Cigar Volant.
He does have a white one, yeah.
And
Kathleen has tried Le Cigar Volant.
Yeah. How'd you like it? Or how do you think it compares to
that's a good question, right?
Close but no cigar. Because it's true what Jim said. They're totally different. Like we were talking about, 5% of a blend makes a big difference. So being Mourvedre dominant as opposed to
Grenache or Syrah or whichever. Man, you really did. You had Syrah and everything.
Oops.
Even the Chardonnay.
There was a little
to throw some Syrah in there.
25%.
Absolutely, you'd never know it from the color, would you?
Well, you take the Syrah off the skins very early, sometime
Nigel's
in May.
had it, but he hasn't opened Close but no cigar.
Well, it'd be interesting if he, to taste them side by side too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on in. You can walk right by. Sarah's actually the one who's designing the space of the tasting room. She came into the office this late. I wonder.
Yeah, where is she?
Yeah, what is she doing even? Like, does she?
Oh, that's right. We have a winery in Sonoma.
She was planning on sneaking into the office and drinking this case, I bet.
She's selling in France. Any questions about Randall or?
Oh, Kathleen just said we used to belong to his wine club. Cool things like Tanat in the shipment. Maybe we'll get him to make some cool things like that for us.
He's already making that wine for 2012.
Did she like Tanat?
Yeah, Tanat.
Tanat actually has the highest resveratrol content from what I've heard, and it's supposed to be really, really, really good for your heart because, well, I'm not saying that as a Naked Wines disclaimer, but I have read that. Don't drink Tanat if you have a heart disease.
In case anybody needed to know this, he is not a doctor.
Yeah, not even close. I might be half Jewish, but that doesn't count.
Did you read what Stephanie wrote? First thing I did after opening Close was to
Nice.
That is good.
It's a really good wine. Randall's doing a cool thing where he's planting. He basically took a vineyard, from what I read. He took a vineyard and just planted a bunch of varietals and doesn't know what they are, and is just going to make wine out of them.
Well, yeah, he that's right. He planted from seed, which isn't normally how you. Do you want to talk a bit about that? I don't know. Show off that you're a winemaker, or are you just eating stuffing?
I'm almost stuffed. Wine grapes are like many, I guess you'd say stone fruits or apple tree. Many types of plants are propagated by cuttings, so they don't reproduce sexually, which means they always are true to type. And wine grapes are rarely, the seeds are rarely fertile. In fact, you see these piles of seeds and skins left over that the wineries have scattered around in the vineyards after the harvest. Piles of them. You'll never see a green shoot coming out of them.
That's right.
Almost never. but it does happen occasionally. Supposedly, Cabernet Sauvignon is the result of a sexual combination of
Cab Franc and
Cab
Sauvignon Blanc.
Franc and Sauvignon Blanc in 1765.
Yep. Because
in Bordeaux.
Savage, and Sauvignon means savage. Apparently, is where it came from, because it was known as the savage, the savage grape, because it could just grow anywhere. It was really strong.
And savage is also like wild in a lot of European languages. It's not quite as like
Sauvage.
I know typing and all that gets a lot harder as things continue.
How did the partnership with Randall happen? When we came to launch in the U.S., we basically put together a list of all the winemakers we would just dream of working with, and of course Randall was on it. So we contacted him, met him, had discussion, and that was really it. It was an email and a phone call.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how it is a lot of the time. The winemakers who sort of just get it, you hear the story, and we say, you're gonna let me make whatever wine you want, well, whatever wine I want. You're gonna pay for it up front, and the only downside is that it's not gonna cost a ton of money to the consumer.
Right.
And a lot of winemakers are actually very alienated by that at first, because
it's completely opposite of how they always think.
Yeah, it's just we're not used to it. But Randall and Jim got
it right away.
So why wouldn't we?
So Randall's got some cool stuff for next year, as you were hinting to.
Yeah. Just saw him. Got a big smile when I asked how it was going. So I'm hoping that's good.
I kind of like the notion that wine not only should taste good, but it shouldn't cost you an arm and a leg.
Right, exactly.
It should be something you can enjoy more or less regularly, as long as your schedule allows and you're
responsible.
You're responsible. Yes, that's right. And to me, wine's not a trophy. Wine is the most delicious beverage in the world, but nonetheless, it's a beverage.
Yeah.
It's another very European sensibility that you have. You like mushrooms. You make European style Syrah, and you think that wine should be an everyday thing and not a status symbol.
That's very European.
Which is what we're really about.
It's that good Norwegian stock. We know
That's
all
right.
about
That's
drinking
right.
responsibly.
I had a Norwegian wine last week.
No, it must have been an ice wine.
I wouldn't call it wine, really. But it was fermented from grape, and it was a blend of like 5 different white grapes, and it was just strange.
Yeah,
but fun. They're trying to do things everywhere.
So, last question of the night: how do we differ from the UK?
That's a great question.
We have a winery.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference between the UK is that the winemaking culture and the wine industry in the US is so far different than the rest of Europe. Europe's old world, and the actual price of production and the price of grapes and the price of selling wine actually correlates back to the actual cost, versus America, where the retail price of a wine has no correlation back to the cost. So coming to America, we thought we could do the same thing we do. We have winemakers all over the world making wines in every country, and they're kind of doing their own thing, and they give us great normal prices. But when we got to America, that wasn't the case. It was 10 to 15 times more of what we pay in Europe. So that's why we have the winery in Sonoma.
In Europe, the markup is tax-based.
Yep.
And in the U.S., it's all just
distributor
marketing, sales-based. Yeah. Now, for me, the biggest difference is sitting there.
Yeah.
It's the winemaker. We're so close to our winemakers in the U.S.
In the UK, we're so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short flight or whatever, but it's not the same proximity. And as a result, they have a Thirsty Thursday every month, too. And it's just, it would just be us. What's great is that we can have a different winemaker in here.
Every Thursday, yeah.
Yeah. And you guys are...
Why do you want a different one? I'll come.
Jim, every Thursday.
Every Thursday. And as long as you put out a spread like this, I'll come.
That's right. It's a huge difference.
No, it's true.
Close.
We are the winery and the offices and so on are right here, close to everyone. We're all right here. We collectively are looking at everything, all the wines. Constantly, not just the winemaker by himself, but collectively. So the whole winemaking staff at the winery in Kenwood, everyone knows what's going on.
That's right. This is a real relationship.
Yep.
Yeah.
I worked a lot with the UK office before coming over here, and I sold wine in the UK for about a year and a half before here. And it's sort of a scary relationship.
Well, it's almost like online dating.
Exactly. or like pen pals.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't need to trust Naked at first because they pay up front, so it was like, whatever. Suckers. But then and you just meet them once or twice a year, and the projects kept getting bigger and bigger until last year I made 140,000 bottles for Naked. And they didn't get to taste it until
It's amazing.
that last month. And so here, we start working on a project and we can still follow it. And it's in our own, it's under our own roof at the winery. We can go, we can
Complete
taste.
control over
And
everything.
I can attest to the fact that the from the concept of the wine through the growing of the grapes and the work with the vineyardists, harvesting the grapes, all these then the ensuing fermentations and the winemaking staff and the winemakers are working very intimately together because we both have the same goal.
Yep.
And so there's no independent. No one is working off-site and oh gosh, by the way, this wine turned into a tannic monster.
Right.
It wasn't supposed to be
Right.
that or some such thing. We're making this. We're all working together to achieve what it is that the winemaker wants.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's great to hear from you, Jim. We're happy that you're happy.
And you guys all need to come and check out the winery.
Yeah. Well, somebody just said
Jeff's,
he's looking forward to it. Jeff, absolutely. One of these days.
Well, I'm going to be there 1 to 4 on Saturday.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you're around in the area.
And
Jim will be
Macario's
there
in this weekend
Saturday.
too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, 1
Macario's
to
in
4, and Macario will be there on Sunday.
It's a heavy-hitting
1 to
weekend.
4.
So I guess that's it.
Signing off?
Signing off, yeah. Thank you guys.
I
Everyone
served
thanks you
myself a third
by the way,
time.
Jim, for your time, and they love getting a chance to talk to you. So,
And they love your wine.
and they love your
Well,
wines.
come for Thanksgiving. I'll at 1141 First. That's my address.
Official. I'll send you guys his actual address through email.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for
Thanks for joining us
For
again.
joining us.
Tell me when the camera's off so I can drink the spit cup.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We will. And all you guys have a really, really good Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys actually for funding
We're
it.
thankful for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, cheers, guys.
Have a good night. Until next time. Bye.
Till the next Thirsty Thursday.
What's for dessert?
Oh, pumpkin pie.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.